Okay. So you will be filling the details, right? So business account email ID, you are giving here your email ID associated. Job role you can give developer engineer, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
project description. This one you have to fill the some POC. Okay, let me tell you this one. First, the other thing, the POCs, right? Proof of concept. Okay, this one you fill, and job role you can fill this, and implementation timeline you tell the 4 to 6 month. Budget range you tell about 100 to 499 per month. Okay, 4 per month. Okay, yeah, I never seen this. Okay, so tell the this is a per month, right? So better to you can say this one. Okay. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they will give 300 only, right? Okay, so just the
Yeah.
minimum is a 6.5 to 300, right? So 300, okay,
Mm-hmm.
300 is a budget range. Workload type you can say here, big data analytics, business intelligence. And here you fill the detail of your company, phone number, all those things, and personal interest. Okay, now here the proof of concept. So here we have to fill the use cases, right? Some use cases, data engineering use cases, right? Where the ETL pipeline. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here, like some ingestion pipeline. Okay. So I will prepare 1 or 2 use cases, then like because we cannot guarantee like with because we have to add more detail, right? Okay. Because 2 3 lines of use case is not enough. We have
Uh-huh.
to tell lambda use cases, right? Or glue, lambda, EMR, kinesis, right? So something like let me show this POCs you have to show. Okay, like you show some AWS glue. Okay, so this kind of description, but let you have to write in your own words, right? Okay, so if you can define like you are using these many, these are the, so this is the one use case, and you have to write it in the onward, right? What the pipeline structure, how the data is coming and how the flow is, right? So we are using this. So this is the architecture diagram. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we can say, right, like use case, this is the use case, okay, here. So in our pipeline, um, like basically the data is then loaded into the Amazon Redshift. So here is the, so the task one, this is the one flow, right? Our step function is the scheduler tool, which is scheduling the glue job and which is reading data from the S3 and writing
Mm-hmm.
data to the Redshift. Okay. And further we are data is read by, the data is basically linked in the S3, and then we are doing the reporting in the SageMaker. Okay. So something like not 1 or 2 use cases. I will give write some few lines. You can just break it down. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody should not use same, but I'm saying like different lines you can add in your project. Okay. Okay. Or you can check some projects here in this link. Data mastery. This guy, they have the this kind of projects. Okay. Any
Mm-hmm.
2 3 projects, summarize and give it to there. Okay. Like okay. If you this kind of project. Okay. So when you are
Okay.
giving, mm. So ultimately, right, you have to write a 6 7 lines the description which is fit into this POC. Okay. So they should allow to give the credit. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Mm. I will write it around 10 15 lines so you can distribute, right? Like some of the and take idea. Okay.
Sure.
Mm. Okay. So okay, so what we are going to do in the AWS Actually, I started on weekend AWS. I don't know whether some guys have not attended. Okay. So I started basic fundamentals. Yeah, got to upload the recording. So in the AWS console, like when we create an account and how to create a new instance in the AWS console. Okay. When we log in into AWS EC2 account, then we can okay. So in this AWS EC2, so EC2 you can so here are the all services are there. Okay. So I talked about how to launch EC2 instance. Like I want to create my own instance. So I can create a new instance by using the launch instance. And simply I can do my EC2 instance. I can give any name to my instance. And I just select which operating system I want to use. And here is 1 year is a free tier eligibility. So some instances are free, right? Like CPU's memory, they are giving free for 1 year. Okay. So, but if you want to higher configuration, it's paid, right? Like T2 small, T2 medium. Like if you're going for 2 GB memory or 4 GB memory, right? Because if you want, so you this AWS cloud is as you pay go model, right? Because as much you use it and you have to pay. But 750 hours is in free tier is T2 micro is free. So T2 micro type instance is free and 30 GB of EBS volume is free. EBS is elastic block storage. So whatever internal storage of your disk, right, you are using for your EC2, that is free up to 30 GB. So either you can use in one instance or you can use group of instances. Okay. So the 30 GB is free till 30 GB. And we have to select key pair. So key pair is we have to, if you don't have the key pair, you can create once key pair and this key pair you can use it for any one of your account. You can use it, same key pair. So you have to select the option here, like which key pair you want to use. So key pair has the two types of file format. One is a PAM file or PPK file. So when you are doing SSH connection, you can use the PAM file. And if you are using like putty connection, then you need PPK. But here is a one option only to create a PAM file. But PPK file you can convert from the PAM. Okay. So how to convert, I will show that. Okay. So I created this PAM file and here is a network setting is there, right? The security group. So security group is basically defining the inbound outbound rule. So inbound rule is like your system is accessible by SSH. That is the inbound rule. So by default is it's allowed SSH connection. Okay. But if you are using some other new select security group, then you can create a new security group. So by default is BPC is there. By default, this security group is created for the default BPC. What is BPC? BPC is the virtual private cloud. So one default BPC or default security group is given by AWS. Okay. Otherwise, if you want to create your own security group, you can create and you can add the inbound rule and outbound rule in that security group. Same like you can create your own BPC, right? Virtual private cloud. So virtual private cloud is the like you can create your own private cloud, right? You want to give the access to your stakeholders, right? So you can create your own cloud, you can give the access, yeah, right? You can control the access, right, on your VPC. Okay. But here we are using a public VPC, and this VPC is by default is given by the AWS. And this is the disk space, how much disk space you want to select. So same I was talking about 30 GB space max. So here is a 16 GB you are taking. Okay. So by default they given 8, but you can change it. That is up to in your hand. And now we launch the instance. So once we launch instance, we will see that our EC2 instance will be in the running state. Okay. Okay. Still it is pending state. It is now running state. So how many ways we can connect EC2? Just select this EC2 and there is the option connect. Here is one is the EC2 instance connect. This is the directly EC2 instance connect is given by the AWS. So you don't need to do anything. Just click on connect and you will be connecting to your new EC2 instance. Okay. This is the problem. I think it's Virginia region. Okay, let me correct. I to create in another region, for instance. So I select my another region, Oregon I use. Because sometimes this is the problem. So I launch instance. This is a different region. Okay. So launch instance. Okay, here is not showing that key pair. So I have to create key pair. Okay, all these things I keep it default.
బ్రో అక్కడికి వెళ్ళండి బ్రో. శర్మ ప్లీజ్ బ్రో, అసలే అసలే.
Okay. So my instance is running. Now I connect. Same thing I'm doing. EC2 instance connect. Connect. I close this one. Okay. So here is not a problem. Actually, that region is the problem for me. Okay. So here I'm able to log into my EC2 instance. Okay. Ubuntu instance. So I can create a directory anything you can do, whatever you can do in the Linux, right? Mm. Okay, so this is the one way, like we connected EC2 instance. Another one is I have a Git bash tool. So Git bash tool, you have to download Git bash, Git bash download for Windows. So you have to download from here Git bash. So you have to download a exe, this for Windows. You download this Git bash, and then once you download your Git bash, then you will get like this Git bash. Okay, so you will get the Git bash. So here I will go to my download folder where my key pair is there. Okay, so here I will get the I will take the URL of connection. So this is my SSH URL, and this is my PEM file, key pair file. Okay, this key pair file should be here. So if I put this URL and it is asking yes, okay, and then I will be connecting. So if I see here, I created a test directory, cd test, and I can do ls and cat command. Okay, so it means I am able to connect my instance here. Okay, and putty if you want to do, so we have PEM file is there, so we have to use the putty gen. So this one also you can download. You can go to here and download putty download. Okay, so putty download, you will get a putty. So putty, you go here to download putty option is there, so you can download putty. Another one is putty gen download. So putty gen is converting your PAM file to PPK file. So putty gen download. So you can download this putty gen. Here is the download link. Here is that putty gen download. Install the no, this is not download. This is the putty download. Many download link. Putty gen. Yeah, here is a Puttigen download. Okay, so this Puttigen download you done, and once you open the Puttigen, this Puttigen, just load the your PEM file. Okay, so PEM file in the download folder. I check here all the file. So PEM file is my Oregon. So this is my PEM file. Okay, and I will save as a PPK file. So I will save my Oregon PPK. Okay, so this is for download for Putty. Okay, so you open Putty now. Okay. Here SSH you go, AUTH, and here you get the PPK file. This is your PPK file. Okay. and go to session. Here you give the public IP of your EC2. So your public IP, this is your public IP. This is your public IP. So this public IP you will give here, and you will tell about what is your username. Username is Ubuntu. Okay. So you logged in, right? You logged in, and then you say Alice. Okay. So I'm able to see. Okay. So this is like how can we connect the putty. Okay. Okay, so this is the way like how you can connect your EC2 instance. Okay. Now next thing is like EC2. There are the different other things are there, but main is the EC2, and here is the security group. If you go to your EC2 instance, so this is your detail of your EC2 instance. So in this EC2 instance detail, you can check here like your security group, right? Which security group you are using. So this security group is already the 22 port is there, right? The SSH port. Okay. So if you go to the security group, if you want to add more, so edit inbound rule, add rule. So you have to add the rule. There are different rules are there. SMTP, all TCP. Okay. Suppose HTTP port I want to add. HTTP. So HTTP when you are adding 80 port is there. So you can here make it anywhere IPv4 and save rule. So once you save rule, your HTTP is added. So your EC2 instance can be accessed 80 inbound rule. Outbound rule means right you can access some other. Here is all traffic is given, right? So you can access anything from your EC2. So that is a outbound. Okay. So in your EC2, what you can access, on what port you can access, that port are enabled. Okay, these are the port are enabled when you are going to access your EC2 instance. Okay, and what your EC2 instance can access, that will be defined in the outbound rule. So you can edit outbound rule and add the security rules. Okay, and another thing is coming, every EC2 instance is attached with the volume. So I created a one volume, right? 8 GB. So this volume is telling my right reason and everything is telling about. Suppose I need an extra volume. So I can create volume. I can create some new volume, and this volume I can attach with any EC2 instance. Okay. So that is possible. Okay. And key pair maintenance you can do. Suppose this is the one key pair for this particular region, but you can create more key pair. But key pair is generally we keep it as minimal as possible, right? Because otherwise we will forget, right, which key pair we are using for where we are using which key pair. Okay. Load balancer, right? You can define the load balancer, right? Suppose you have a multiple EC2 instance and you want to maintain the load balancing. So you can create a load balancer. So there are the different types of load balancer. Okay. So the main important service is like for data engineering, that is Lambda. Okay. So Lambda is okay. Another one is a S3 is there. S3 is a file storage system. So it's a simple storage service, and this S3 is basically defining the buckets, right? Your data is stored as an object in the bucket, and so high level storage in the S3 is a bucket, and bucket you can create further the folders, directories you can create. So suppose if I say I'm going to create, and bucket name is a globally unique. Okay, you cannot have the same bucket name created by me and created by someone else across the region, across the region. Okay, so suppose if I keep it very simple bucket name, AWS bucket. So I will see this bucket is already created before. Okay. So when I'm just going to create a bucket, okay. So I will get a message here. Right. So I have to create a bucket which is unique, right? So I'm giving 03 11 2024, some unique name I give it. Okay. So you are creating a bucket, general purpose, and right now ACL disabled. Like you are not giving any access on the bucket. You have disabled your access. Otherwise, you can allow like public all access. Like anyone can access publicly on internet your bucket. So you have block all the public access. Okay. Bucket versioning. Versioning is like multiple files copies can be created with the different content. Okay, but same file name. So if you enable the word versioning, so if you uploading the same file again, so it will maintain the version. So you will not lose your copy. Okay. Suppose by mistake your file is deleted. Okay. So the file will not be straightforward deleted. It will be keeping it as a version. Okay. And now I'm going to create a bucket. See, this bucket is now created because this is a unique name I selected. Okay. Okay. Once bucket is created, I go inside the bucket. I can create a directories, some folders I can create. I can say my test. Okay. And this test folder, now I can upload the file. Like suppose I want to, so it's a file system. Like normally, like we use the file system. So I have a one file. So I uploaded this file. Okay. Okay. If this file I change it, so I will see that my version will be created. So right now, if I try to access this one, I say here this object URL. If I click on this, it is showing me public access was not given, right? So public access was not given. So we have to give the permission. Okay. But before that, I show suppose this same file. If I'm going to, this is the file, right? So in this file, I do some changes. Okay. I just put one more line. Okay. I save this file and I upload it again in my same folder. I'm uploading it again. So current version will be the latest one, right? Okay. So if I select it, so if I downloaded this file, so I will see this file is the latest one, right? This is the latest one, right? But if I'm going to delete a file, I'm maintaining a version, right? So if I delete this file, if I delete this file, here, delete. Okay. Now I will be checking the version here. So my file is deleted. Okay. But if I check, but still file is not completely deleted, right? It is just marked as a delete marker. This delete marker you deleted, then permanently deleted. So you have previous versions are there. Okay. So how many versions you have? You have all versions are maintained. Okay. So this is called versioning. Okay. So there are the other things also, like I have a different properties are there. Like bucket versioning is there. Like tagging we can do. So we can use bucket tag to track the storage cost and organize bucket. So we can tag means like a specific particular purpose we are creating bucket. We can tag it. Okay. We want to use some encryption. So the default encryption is this, the S3 encryption, but we can use some other encryption also we can use. We have to enable, the encryption is enabled, but we have to select different encryption, like some KMS encryption also there. Okay. So default is the S3 enabled encryption is there, server side. But if you encryption means whatever data you will be keeping it in a bucket, right? It will be encrypted. Okay. Just for security point of view. Okay. So, and the other thing is like some other properties are there, right? Okay, server access logging, access tower. So this one is important. This one is like event notification, right? Suppose your file is arrived in your bucket, so it will trigger the lambda, some service you want to trigger. So when you create a notification, so you can create a new event notification, and this event notification you can tell my new event. Okay, some event name you created, and this event name, you are telling here in which folder of your bucket your event will be triggered. So you said my test. My test is a folder, and in that, what type of file is there? I say .txt type of file, and all type of event, right? Even the post event, put event, copy, anything. So I'm selecting all, but here I have to give lambda function. So which destination you want to trigger? Suppose you got the file in your S3 bucket and you want to trigger some computation, right? Suppose you say lambda function is a 1. So right now there is no lambda in the same region. Okay. So I have to create a one lambda function. So I have to go to lambda. So this is the one use case of lambda, right? Like you have the file is an S3 bucket and you want to trigger your lambda function. So lambda is serverless computing. It's serverless means there is no need of EC2. So EC2 machine, you can install Python and you can run the Python code, but the lambda is a serverless. Serverless means it doesn't need any EC2 machine or server. The AWS environment is providing you the infrastructure, the backend infrastructure it will provide. Just you have to create your lambda code. Just you have to create your function, lambda function. So lambda function not only can be written in Java, Python, there are many different languages support is there. So whatever version of the Python you are selecting, you just select your Python version and give your lambda function name, my lambda. Suppose I given this lambda, and there is a option here, the default execution role. So how this lambda will be run? Actually, one more service come in picture for this execution of any service, right? Or you are running any job or anything. So IAM service is there, identity access management. So this identity access management service, we have different options are there, like users, group, right? We can create a roles, permissions, policies. So these are the things are there. So Abhi, right now this is a new account. So there is no user group is there. And if I see there is no user is created, like I can create my own particular user, I can create and I can give the access. Okay. Right now role, the default role are there. Okay. So first I will create a one role. See permissions I will add. Okay, so I'm going to create a one role and I say it's I want to choose lambda here. I want to create a role for lambda. Next. Okay, so I should give here lambda full access. So lambda full access. So lambda full access I give, right? I'm creating a role, the IAM role, which can execute lambda. And another component I will add in the same role, S3 full access, because whenever any file is coming from the S3, right? So this role, so same role, I'm adding the multiple policies I'm adding. Okay, so I'm giving this role name lambda execution role. Any name you can give, execution role. Okay, and this role I will use for lambda execution. So I just created this role. So my role has, if I go inside this role, I have two policy, one for the S3 full access, one is. So when I go to my lambda function where I'm creating a lambda function, so I will use existing role. So I have to, right now it automatically came, right? When I refresh, it came. Okay, I selected this role and I created the function. So when I create a lambda function, so in the lambda function, I see here in the code editor, I can write the code. So whatever code I want to execute when my file is arrived, right? Suppose I say I want to read my file content. Okay. I want to read my file content or my file parameters I want to read. Sometimes it's taking time. Okay, so this is a code editor window. So this code editor window, by default, just lambda handler is given. So whenever your file is arrived, your lambda handler will be invoked. Okay. So Abhi, right now here is no trigger. Why the trigger is not there? Because when we are configuring from the S3 here, when we are configuring S3, so I have not selected lambda yet. Okay. So now it is not coming here, right? So here I will go again and select again. See, my lambda is coming. So I will select here my lambda. So this lambda, so this, what it will do, it will create a one trigger. It will create a one trigger from S3 to lambda. So if you come to your lambda, you will see here when you refresh it, one trigger will be added. It automatically come here. Can you check here? It is coming. The same thing you can do from here. When you click on the add trigger and you select the source and select the source, you say S3. So same information you have to fill up here. Can you see here? The prefix, suffix, and event, all object and bucket, which bucket you want to do. Okay. The same thing I can do from here. But when I'm trying for the same thing here, it will not allow because I already created cannot overlapping, right? Because I have already the same bucket, I can't use it. Okay. So same trigger you cannot create from the lambda. Okay. So whenever you create from the S3, if you deleted this one, if you delete from the event here, so it will automatically delete it. If I go here, this event, if I delete this, if I delete this, my event is deleted. Now if I refresh this, it will be removed. Okay. It is removed, right? So it is sync, right? It is sync. Now add trigger. Now I can trigger add. So either way you can do S3 and I select my same bucket. This is the all object create event. Then I say my folder is a my test. And I say my file extension is a txt, and I acknowledge here. So here just I'm giving a bucket information. And in the bucket, what we are giving lambda information. Okay. So when I'm adding here, and if I go to my S3 bucket and I refresh here, if I refresh here, I will get it. Okay. So it is vice versa, right? Whenever you are adding in the bucket, so it will come to the lambda, and lambda you are adding, it will come into the bucket. So if you see here, it is created, right? It is created. The destination type is lambda. Okay. So here, this lambda function is created. Now I want to write some code in the lambda. Okay. So when I want to write some code in the lambda, I want, like, whenever file is arrived in S3, my lambda will be triggered. My lambda will be triggered and it should do some computation on the data which is arrived in S3. Okay. So there are many more triggers are there. We'll see that some more triggers. I will show that API gateway is the one trigger. Those are mostly we need it. SNS is the one trigger. SQS is the one trigger. Okay, so there are many more. DynamoDB is the one trigger. Okay, so there are many more triggers are there. Okay, so we can configure at a time more than one trigger, but the same bucket you cannot create the another trigger. Okay, okay. So if I want to read my S3 file, I say I want to invoke the right. I want to So there is a Python code. Here we go Python. So here is a Boto3 API is there. So here dynamically it's reading the bucket. So whatever file is read, automatically the bucket name will come. Whatever file is read, the key. So key is called the file, and bucket is the bucket where the bucket means the file is there. Okay. So bucket name and object key. So key is your file, and then it will get the content. Okay, so I'm just taking this code, and as it is, I'm copy pasting here in the lambda Boto3. So Boto3 is a type of API is given by the Amazon, and we will be using the Boto3 to access the S3. Okay. So first is whenever your this lambda will be hit, right? Lambda will be triggered. So I will get this event. I will get this event object. Okay. And this event object, I can print even this event object, print event. Okay, so you can see in the event object, your bucket name and file name will be there. So I'm just going to access bucket and file. And then I want to print the content type of my file. Okay. And print response. Okay. Now I'm deploying my changes. Okay. Now I will upload one file. Okay. In my S3 bucket. So I go to my bucket, inside the bucket, my test, and here I upload one file. So we have to take it txt extension. Okay. Because txt extension we have to give upload. So I'm uploading a file. Okay. So my file is uploaded in the bucket. And now I will be going to the monitor. And here is a CloudWatch log. If I click on this CloudWatch log, CloudWatch log is monitoring service. Any particular service, like we can monitor the log in the CloudWatch. Okay. So it will create a group of my lambda function. It will create a one log group, right? Like whatever my lambda function. So whatever logs related to my lambda function, it will be coming in that particular group. Okay. So this is the group is created. Okay. It takes time. It will create a group. So already some group is okay. Here we can check invocation didn't happen. It is the same bucket. We can check the trigger here. This is the bucket. This is all the .txt file, my test folder. Monitor. This is the, okay, this lambda in which region I created? Oregon region. It's not created the group. your function doesn't have the permission. Okay, let's see this configuration. Here the configuration. This is the role. This is correct. Okay, we can try this test event. Okay, this is without S3. This is just testing purpose, like some event name you give, and this is the JSON is passed, and then we can test it. Okay, so my event is failing. The most likely unhandled exception. Right. Okay, so here is printing, but this is the error is coming. It is coming because of key error records. Key error. Okay, record will not get it because this is our test event, right? So here the record will not come, right? So event doesn't have any record parameter, right? Because event has, if you see this configure one, so here is no record, right? This is just for testing, okay? So that is fine. Now we test our S3 one. Okay, now we go to monitor. Okay, one more thing. Actually, one, it is saying your function doesn't have permission to write AWS CloudWatch. So at least add this basic role to your role. It is clearly saying, okay, we are ignoring this. Okay, this is saying missing permission. We have given two permissions in our IAM role. We have not given this permission, right? This permission is basically running your lambda as well as it is writing the log to the CloudWatch. That's the reason we are not able to write the log in the CloudWatch. So we go to our this lambda execution role and search like add permission, and here we search this role. See this one. This one was not added. Okay, and this is AWS managed one. Okay, so we have to add this. Without this, it will not. Now it is added. So now, if I upload the file now, okay. So now I'm uploading file. Okay. Now I go to the Lambda, click on the monitor log. See, this time is created. So issue, you got it right. So we should always check properly. So at least execution role should be there. And if you are going to access S3, S3 should be there. If you are going to use Lambda, so Lambda full access should be there. So now I go to the log. So I can see here the record object is there. This is a complete file record. Like this is having your key. So this is your folder and this is your file and this is your bucket. Okay. So all the information is there, right? My bucket name is there. Okay. So this is the ARN. This is the ARN, but here is a bucket name is there. Bucket name. So this is my bucket name. Okay. And but there is some other error is showing in the lambda code. So lambda code is showing the error. So here it is this one, CloudWatch. This is the warning unhandled exception.
Print response spelling mistake.
Oh, okay. Where is the response? Okay, I have print. Where is the response?
In the try block.
Oh, yeah, here. Okay. So this is by mistake, right? Because this for typo. Okay, so I deployed again. Okay, now I upload again the file because I have to test it, so I have to upload the file. Right. So you need to identify the error and then you have to fix it. If any configuration issue is there or any configuration or yeah. So now I have uploaded. Okay, so now I go to Lambda again, go to monitor, and but why is still coming this missing permission? Okay, actually it was a earlier window. Okay, so now it is not coming now. Yeah. Okay, so CloudWatch log. So one more. Sometimes it keep appending in the existing log, or sometimes it is creating a new log. Okay, so this is the latest. So this is the content type I'm printing. And whatever the response body you are printing, so this response is coming. Okay. So this is the way like I can trigger my Lambda from the S3 and I can capture the event. Okay. Okay. So try it out. I'll just, this is the code. Okay. I will add in the classroom. Okay. So this is the same code I taken from here, right? For any Lambda. So this is the same thing. They explain it the same, right? What are the permissions, all these things. So they are creating their own policy. Okay, so you can create your own policy, you can create. But we have used the like this is S3 bucket policy, right? So bucket policy you can define. Okay. So you are trying to access which bucket, right? Or those things. Okay. Okay, so try this one. And I will show tomorrow the other examples with the related to Lambda. Okay. Okay, thank you.